Hey guys, it's Timmy. I'm chilling here with some lovely guests at South Lake State. Get ready for Paradise Plates and Nikki J. What we here for today?
Well, I'm Nikki J. We're here to find out all things about Paradise Plates and the brainchilds behind Hands for Hunger. Well, two of them. Zelika Knowles. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
And Paige Hannah. What's up?
Everything's cool.
So, ladies, tell us a little bit about Hands for Hunger.
So, Hands for Hunger is a Bahamian nonprofit organization. It was started 9 years ago by young Bahamian students at the time. And our mission is to collect fresh surplus food that would have otherwise been thrown away and deliver that same food to community agencies. And then they, in turn, feed people in need.
So, what were the main goals of Hans Hunger first? Like, say 9 years ago, what were the main goals, and how did they at that point? Now we have trucks, and a bunch of trucks, but how did they expect to do it way back then?
So, like I said, Hands for Hunger was started 9 years ago by young Bahamian students. So I think Alana Rogers, when she started the organization, was thinking that there was a lot of food that was being thrown out, especially by places like, big hotels, resorts were throwing out a lot of food on their buffet lines. So the idea was to collect that food and then to distribute it to people in need. So the goal is to make sure that we're eliminating food waste by picking it up and then eliminating hunger at the same time.
And one of the reason why I really want to get a Hans Hunger, because I think the stat is like 43,000 Bahamians can't eat. Like, talk to us a bit about that, because not until the last 2 years we did the $4 a day challenge, I really realized how bad it is in the Bahamas.
So the Department of Statistics told us that 43,000 Bahamians live on the poverty line in the Bahamas. And so that's exactly what the Dine on the Line challenge was, that people eat on only $4 a day. And so like you mentioned, we did that challenge. This year was our second year doing the Dine on the Line challenge, where we asked the public, people who can afford to eat with a little bit more than that, to challenge themselves and dine on $4 a day for 4 days. And it was rough.
I remember seeing Paige on Instagram talking about the Dine on the Line challenge, and it's such a great initiative. Can you tell us a little bit more about your personal experience with the challenge?
So what is specifically difficult for me is it always falls around my birthday. And so to be able to tell myself, you can only spend $4 around your birthday, this is a reality for some people. Even in celebratory occasions, you're still struggling just to eat. Some people spend, hundreds of dollars just on cake, and you only have $4 a day to dine on food. So for me, it was an eye opener for my birthday, a really hard struggle. So just for me, it was difficult during the time it was, and it just was an eye opener for the type of reality a lot of Bahamians live every day.
And Nikki, how do you think you'll be able to cope with that?
$4 a day. I thought it was a very great challenge, but I don't know, Timmy. I don't know, Timmy.
And it really opened my eyes. No, I spent $4 on breakfast.
Oh, man, I know.
$4 on breakfast, but it really made me realize that this is a problem. That's why I always wanted to get involved with community service, and I used to work at Nazi when I was younger. But because me as a foodie who loves food, I think Hans Hunger really hit home for me, because I can't imagine being able to only use $4 a day to eat. So how about you? How's your experience with the $4 a day?
Yeah, well, actually, the first year that we did it last year, I was pregnant at the time. And that's also reality for a lot of people. So I made sure that I still did the challenge at $4 a day. And one of the things that was interesting is I ate a lot of lentils for the protein aspect. But a lot of Bahamians don't eat lentils or split peas. Things like that are not very kind of familiar or common to the diet. And so it really had to open us up to eating things that maybe we weren't used to. And the other thing is we shared a lot of food. So it made us kind of value Sunday dinner and the importance of gathering as a family and eating together, because that really helped us get through the rest of the week. That gave us a little bit of food that we were able to take home for the next 2 or 3 days and eat off of that. And so, yeah, it just kind of reminds you to go back to the roots and the importance of Sunday dinner and family and community.
And before we move on, I talked to someone else about this day, and you hear poverty line, but these people, they don't look poor. They dress up and they go to work. So a Bahamian be too proud. We never say we live in the struggle, but you see someone dress up in suit, go to work, you would notice that they don't eat lunch, they drink tea. But how is it that we could get, and you can tell me from your experience, that they might be too proud to maybe ask for the food? Have you experienced that, where they be hungry and you'll notice it, but they don't want to ask for the food because they're just too proud?
We get a lot of phone calls to the office, and that's really how we kind of keep a pulse on what's happening in the community. We get a lot of phone calls from people who are employed. So we call them the working poor, right? So they're employed, they do have a salary and an income, but they're having a hard time making ends meet. And so I think that's a reality for a lot of Bahamians. There's obviously a lot of pride behind it. And so the phone calls we get are really kind of heart-wrenching, where it's people who are like, we have kids, and we just don't know what to feed them anymore. Yeah.
So speaking about poverty in the Bahamas, I know the food trucks deliver. How often do they deliver? Which venues they deliver to? And tell us a little bit more about that.
So we have 2 food trucks that are on the road 6 days a week. Our drivers really are the champions behind what it is that we do, because they're in the front lines. So we pick up food from about 30 different vendors, including places like KFC, the Atlantis, Dunkin' Donuts gives us quite a bit of food, Sbarro. So we have a lot of kind of a diversity of food donors. And then we pick up that food and we deliver it to 18 recipient agencies all across Nassau. So that's places like Great Commission and Salvation Army, and smaller places like LJ's Hilltop Ministries in Kemp Road. So we really spread the food out as much as possible.
Incredible.
So talk to us a bit about the accomplishments. Because 9 years, I figure I've done a lot in 9 years' time because we're still going strong. Probably had some progress and some high points.
So last year we celebrated collecting over 1 million pounds of food since our inception. So that was a really big goal, or I guess milestone crossed.
I always tell the team is that we're trying to work ourselves out of a job, right? We're trying to make sure that we feed so many people and we ensure that everybody has access to 3 nutritious meals every day, that we don't need to do this anymore. And that's the goal. The goal isn't to feed more and more people. It's to make sure that people are getting nutritious food and that our services really are no longer,
So I guess it's the motto is no more. I think it's all no more hunger.
Right. So we want to reach zero hunger in the Bahamas, but we also want to reach zero food waste. So as long as we can collect food and deliver that same food, that reduces the amount that goes into the dump, and that increases the amount of people who have access to a proper meal.
And realistically, how do you think we could get to a point? Do you see the progress year by year that eventually you reach a point where you no longer have to do this?
Absolutely. I think the reason why we do what we do is because we actually think that hunger is a problem that we can solve. And so the amount of food that still gets wasted to this day is, it's astronomical. And so we want to be able to collect that food because we think it's just so important. And we could feed all the people who are hungry using that food. This is actually a problem that will require very little kind of monetary resources to fix, right? It just requires a lot of logistics, Hands for Hunger and organizations just like ours who are kind of in the front lines picking up this food and delivering it. And I think we'll be able to live in a country where everybody has access to 3 meals a day.
So my next question is about exactly what this Paradise Place. Before I ask the question, and I have never been as a foodie, I'm ashamed to say that, but I know Nikki went last year, and to this day, I still hear about it. So Nikki, just let the people know a bit, but your personal experience at Paradise Place last year.
Okay, so my personal experience at Paradise Place, it was a phenomenal experience. And I'm not just saying this because Zelica and Paige is here. It exceeded my expectations. Just picture a huge space. Restaurants ranging from top tier, like 3-star, 5-star, Sapodilla restaurant itself. Shema, going through the streams to Drifters, Dunkin' Donuts, Lewis and Saints, like all through, it's an array of restaurants available, an array of entertainment. We had the floating DJ, that blew my mind. We had, what else wait, I can't answer what else. But basically, there are various aspects of it that I truly enjoyed. And the most great feeling was the fact that, it's giving back. That the ticket, the money from the ticket, the revenue that they've gained from it is going back to combat hunger. So that was most satisfying. And it's, like I say, it's all fun for a great cause.
So I want to know where did the idea and the name come from? Because thinking about it, a foodie event to raise money for Hans Hunger, it's perfect. So talk to me about why the name and the idea, where did it come from?
So that actually came before our time. But I do know that Hands for Hunger itself is modeled after an organization that's very similar to ours in New York. And then there's also similar ones in Toronto. And the one in New York actually does a food festival as well around this time as a way to raise money for the organization. So I think conceptually the idea may have come from there, but we don't really know where Paradise Plates came from.
So Paige, talk to us about you, because I know you just recently joined Hands for Hunger, but talk to me about your experience with the event, Paradise Plates.
All right, so it's actually an interesting story. So about 3, 4 years ago, I actually started as a volunteer. That was my first time volunteering with Hands for Hunger. Was at the donation wall. Basically, I was, getting people to. I was upselling the event a little bit, being like, "Hey, you have $10. I mean, you might as well throw the 20 in one time." And so I think from that experience, it just showed me how well organized the organization was, Hands for Hunger was. And so I stuck around. The next year, I was logistics. So I helped out with planning out the event itself and then event coordinator. And this year, I'm the interim communications manager. And so I've been able to help. I've grown with the event, I think, going from a volunteer to a type of a volunteer lead. And now a part of their, I call it Staff Plus One, their little sister in there. And so watching the event grow has been amazing. The first time I came, it was just hitting 30, I think, and now we're almost at 40 restaurants and beverage purveyors. And so you can see the growth in it. The numbers have rising. Last year we sold out. We had a sold out event at over 1,000 people. And so this year we're expecting the same. Hopefully we bring in more. And one thing that I like that stands out in my mind is a dollar equals a meal. So just thinking of that, the donation of the ticket price, that's 175 meals you're donating to the organization. And so when we look at it in terms of that, I think it's for a really good cause. It's an indoor festival. And I just love it. I think it's a great opportunity for foodies and people that are, yeah, it's a good time, but it's also for philanthropy. So a little hashtag I like to use all the time is food fund philanthropy. And so, yeah.
And just about anything that Vern missed last year, she missed last year, they don't touch on. I know you had the floating DJ, you had, I think, Willis last year, Willis Band.
So last year, Zaymar helped us out tremendously in providing that floating DJ. So that was a nice element that we added. Last year, we also added a raffle, which this year we're doing an all travel-based raffle. So it's all travel-based.
How much I get if I get?
So the books are a donation of $40 with a $5 a ticket, but it can range anywhere from Sky Bahamas tickets to the Family Islands with hotel stays all the way up to JetBlue tickets that can go anywhere that JetBlue travels. So we think we've put together a nice raffle for anyone. An amazing raffle. But we also have a silent auction opportunity. We're doing an art and leisure silent auction this year, which we haven't done it last year, but we're bringing it back. So we have both the raffle and silent auction this year. So this year we have an exciting new element to Paradise Plates. It's the wine pull. And I know Zelika is really excited to talk about that. That's a bit of her baby. So if we could
Tell us more.
About the wine pull. So the wine pull is super exciting because it's the first year we're doing it. But basically, we've gotten a lot of liquor donated to the event. And so what we're doing is, yay, look. We're hoping that's everyone's reaction. And so what we're doing is, it's a raffle. So you get to walk up and you can pull a bottle of wine from different racks, either $25 rack, $50 or $100. You place kind of what your bet is going to be. And then you pull the bottle. Whatever bottle you pull, you win. And so you can take that home with you. But if there's a sticker on the back, then you also win JetBlue tickets. So for $25, you might go home with a great bottle of wine and a flight to anywhere in the world that JetBlue flies to. Sky Bahamas as well. So Sky Bahamas has donated tickets, Bahamas Air as well. So it really is very much a travel and leisure-based event.
So Nikki, which restaurants are you looking forward to? I mean, me personally, I've never eaten food. I think it's 1648. I've only been to Luther once. And that was that's a restaurant I ate to, and I still to this day dream about their food. So that's where I'm going to first. So where do you want to eat to at the event?
Well, where are we seated?
I think not to cut you off, sorry, but you have a lot of new ice cream vendors this year as well.
We have a lot of new vendors in general, and there are about 10 new restaurants to Paradise Plates, and I think about 8 of them are new to the island. Yeah, so they're new. They're in their first year of operation. Exactly. This is really how they kind of introduce themselves. It's like it's an opening, right, for them too, to the community. So places like Wild Thyme are going to be there. We have Biggity that's in their first. There you go. Big them up. And then there's Biggity. We have a lot of kind of very new places. There's this place called the Bearded Clam downtown that just opened, which we're excited about featuring. So yeah, it's going to be a great event.
So back to your question for me, Timmy. Like I said, where are we? Sapodilla. I'm looking forward to it. We're seated at their garden, and in their meals they use freshly picked thyme, parsley, basil, and I'm looking forward to sun and ice. Love it. I've visited there, and I tried the Auntie Mar. It tastes just like guava.
So it's guava ice cream, basically.
Basically.
And so this is the ninth year, so the 10 year, I mean, the 10th year is going to be a big shebang. So what can you all talk to us? I know you can't let the raps go yet, but the expectations of what we can expect for the 10th year, because that's a big milestone. I mean, £1 million is a big milestone. We've been doing this for 10 years. Like, talk to us about that.
So first we have to get through the 9th year. And we have a lot of really amazing surprises, I think, this year as well. That's going to very much distinguish the event. And what we're super proud of is the community that comes together to make this event as successful as it is. Because we're a very small team. And we rely on so many community partners. So Zaymar, that suspended the DJ for us last year, is doing amazing lighting this year. I don't want to give away too much, but the lighting is going to be incredible and going to transform this space entirely. We're working with a small boutique kind of decor company called Island Destination Services, which we're also super excited about, to be able to showcase these small Bahamian companies that are doing phenomenal work. And that's what this year is going to be about. So if you can imagine how great this year is, the 10th year is going to be even better. We just can't give away too much.
She didn't give away anything.
I know, Veronique, I've tried you talking to me about a different event you had about Gambia Town, so I'm going to talk to us about that.
Yes. So my first impact that I've experienced with Hands for Hunger is the fast food project, correct? And basically what I've gathered is we go into inner cities or inner parks, and the one that I've participated in is Gambia Park, and we created smoothies. It was very refreshing for the soccer team. Right? So Zelica, can you tell us a little bit more about the soccer team, how this initiative started, and if there are more not-for-profit initiatives that Hands for Hunger offer that the community can become involved with? Let us know.
So Hands for Hunger, like I mentioned, really is focused on food rescue and food delivery. But at the same time, we also want to pilot some smaller projects and see what else we can do in the community. So like I mentioned, 43,000 Bahamians face chronic hunger on a daily basis, and 50% of them are under the age of 14. So we felt like it was very important for us to focus a little bit on school-age children. So that's where the fast food project came in. And what we did was, instead of preparing actual meals, we made smoothies as a way of like a meal replacement. And so we tested it out actually in Gambia. We took the kids some fruit-based smoothies with a little bit of kale in it, some honey from Andres, some coconut water, and they loved it. It was their first time having kale for a lot of the kids. And we worked with Yesai, a soccer team that's out there, another nonprofit. So a lot of what we do, we try and merge with other nonprofits that work here, different communities, and we're just trying to pilot these small projects. And if they work, then we can pass it on to other organizations and maybe even the government. You know?
I was reading up on the website yesterday. I didn't realize that you have no government assistance at all.
Pretty impossible. Yeah. But what that means is that we have a lot of community support. So the reason why we're able to do what we do is because of events like Paradise Plates, community members that come together to make that happen, and then the donations we get throughout the year. And that's really how we were able to have those trucks on the road 6 days a week.
And so, Paige, you're the communications lady. So talk to me about the hashtags. What hashtags we need to know for Hands for Hunger and Paradise Place? So talk to me. Make sure, so because we know we want to dress up. And also tell the people where they can buy tickets and where what they should wear, but them hashtags.
All right. So you can buy tickets either online at our website, handsforhunger.org, or you can pass by our office on Blake Road at the MPCC building. And we also have, for the people who live out east, you can go to Bahamas Vision Center in Harbor Bay, and you can purchase your tickets there. You can follow the hashtags, hashtag Hands for Hunger, hashtag H4, the number H, hashtag Paradise Place, which is our running hashtag that we've basically taken over it. And so every year you could see all of our pictures or videos from the years past. And then we like to throw in, again, some fun hashtags, give a little, live a lot, food, fun, and philanthropy. And a new one that I've added is chefing it up for a cause. Just because we have so many chefs that are donating their talent, and beverage purveyors that are donating their talent, their time, their products to our event. And honestly, Paradise literally wouldn't exist if we didn't have them. So we like to bake them up in that way as well.
And before Nikki takes us home, just remember, it's September 30th. 7 p.m. at Atlantis Paradise Island. You see how the Paradise Place in, but just get your tickets. So $175 is going towards a good cause. $1 is a meal. So you're paying for 175 meals with your ticket. Come out, have fun, food from any restaurant you could think of. And Nikki, good, that's what you need to know.
How can we dress? You know, I'm all about style and fashion, but that is not the main focus. But just let everyone know, like, what is the dress code for Paradise Plates? Zalika?
Like I'm the fashion person. So the dress code is island chic. We really like to give people a little bit of creative freedom with how they interpret that. And so as long as you look your best and you feel your best, then you're welcome. And we'll have the whole gamut, right? So we'll have people who are super dressed up and then people who are wearing flats so they can walk around the ballroom. So just come comfortable and ready to have a good time. I think that's the best attire, right?
You heard a comfortable, glammed up, whichever is your choice. Be ready to have a great time, all for a good cause.
And I'm Timmy, sitting there with Nikki J and the lovely ladies of Hands for Hunger. And I hope to see you on September 30th.